Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the new Argentina-Texas Chamber of Commerce webinar presented by Celestia Michietti and Alejandro de Klerk, both with Inisoft. The webinar title is From BI to AI Agents, a roadmap for data-driven transformation in the oil and gas sector. I am Rodolfo Viola, Argentina-Texas Chamber of Commerce Director, and your host and moderator for this webinar session. Thank you for joining us today. Before we start, let me take a moment to introduce ourselves and give you a brief overview of who we are and what we do. The Argentina-Texas Chamber of Commerce is an independent non-profit voluntary membership association founded in 2016 to promote investment, trade, education, and networking opportunities between Texas and Argentina. The Chamber is dedicated to building a strong economic bond between Argentina and Texas. In this webinar, we will explore a brief summary of a business case applied to the financial sector, a roadmap for transforming data into BI and from BI to AI agents, and then challenges of AI agents in the future. We will explore how companies can be transformed into data-driven organizations by evolving from business intelligence to artificial intelligence. We will outline a comprehensive roadmap for converting data into business value, from integrating business tools to implementing advanced AI agents. Some info about our speakers for today. Celestia Michietti, she's a psychologist currently finishing her master in business management. At Inisoft, she is the COO and spent her days navigating P&L, managing KPIs, enhancing communication, fostering empathy, and building team cohesion. She initiates, drives, and completes multiple projects simultaneously with a strong business-oriented vision and a deep focus on people, dedicated to building a bigger and better organization that transforms both their clients' businesses and the life of Inisoft collaborators. Alejandro de Klerk has more than 10 years of experience managing data projects. He is also a data expert and extensive expertise in system implementation, including both project and resource management. He is proficient in data engineering, data science, AI, and talented developer. He also managed key methodologies such as Agile, design thinking, and storytelling. He holds an MSc in data science and has numerous certifications in analytics, data science, and AI. Finally, we would like to thank to our corporate members for their continued support of the Chamber. They are Pan American Energy, Duralight, and United Airlines as gold members, Globant and PCR silver members, as well as AESA, CAPEX, Dell Technology, Marvel, Mayer, Brown, ProShale, bronze member. Let us clarify that our webinars are recorded and uploaded to our YouTube channel. And finally, a brief overview of the webinar series. Celeste and Alejandro will present their talk without interruptions. We kindly request you to pop up your questions in the Q&A chat, and we will read that to Celeste and Alejandro once the presentation finishes. Okay, let's just begin. Celeste, all yours.
Thank you, Rodolfo. Thanks to Argentina-Texas Chamber for inviting us to share this business case with you. I'm Celeste Michietti, as Rodolfo said, and we are a company with talent in Argentina. We develop data-driven solutions for both local and American companies, and we've developed custom solution software for 20 years now. And in the past few years, we've shifted our focus toward data. We are very entrepreneurial and enthusiastic when facing our clients' needs, and this case is a clear example of that. With us today is Alejandro, our Chief Data Officer. He identified a client need, envisioned, and brought this project to life with his team. And this project is now up and running and growing, so we are very happy to share this with you. Ale, thank you for joining us, and it will be a pleasure to hear from you.
Okay, well, thank you everybody for attending this meeting. Today, I would like to speak about what we have done in a telecommunication company, our client. The fact was that we were requested to create an intelligent agent, because you know that we are today in a world in which we heard a lot of notices regarding chatbots, AI, large language model, etc. And the most common use case for this technology is to go to a web page, for example, ChatGPT, and there we can ask a question or type something and get an answer. That's okay, that's great. But I think the most interesting thing to do with this technology, or the more potential that we identify, is to create our own applications or use this intelligence, as to say, of the large language model applied to business problems. So I think in June we began with in May we began with this project. The idea was to create an intelligent agent that should be able to answer to financial questions. It's not so straightforward to do, because you know that the financial information is confidential. So we cannot like paste the information, the data into a ChatGPT, Gemini, or something like that, and ask questions, because of course that was not possible, no, from the legal point of view. So we need to create our own solution and to deploy this solution just for a selected groups of employees. No, not all the company should have access to that. So that was really a challenge. But the fact is that this the architecture of the APIs that these providers are sharing with the clients allow us to create a model that can pass all these limitations that I mentioned, and we are going to go into detail and to see how we get advantage of these APIs and create the solution. The first thing that I would like to mention here is that this solution, although it's complex, yes, because we need to do many steps that you will see, but in the beginning of the process, the company was not so like the company was having many problems with data. I mean, it was not like everything was working fine and everything was in advanced way. No, it was like really messy. They were having a lot of problems for the visibility of the labor cost. For example, they cannot know how much labor cost they were assigning to each customer. Of course, they did the manual calculation for the biggest customers, but they have like 3,000 customers and they only have this calculation made for 100, because if not, because that was all the capacity of the team. No, they need to increase the team by 10 members to be able to cover all the customers. And well, so it was really painful to assign the resources, because they didn't know how they were spending the money, and that was causing some financial problems. So the first step, it was like the kickoff of this problem, was to establish first like the structure, no, a database in which we could automate all these steps. And the first outcome of this project, was to be able to deliver like the cost labor for all the customers. No, we automatize all the process. We link all the systems in which all the cost information was available, all the customer information, and we create some KPIs and metrics that were useful to have, like, in a quick overview you can see the benefit, how much what were the profit, the income, and the labor cost associated to it customer. That was really useful, because it was the first time in their history that they were able to see how much they were spending to provide the service. But the next step was to, as there were so many customers, like 3,000, I mean, you can like have a quick view on that. So we work in a customer clustering, and we identify where should we focus the work, because there was a lot of work to be done regarding automation, regarding process improvement. But the question was how to begin with this. So with this customer clustering, what we did, we identify some potentials, and we identify this like a kind of quick win. For example, if I have a customer with high income and high cost, that's a good way of analyzing. I mean, that's a good case of analyzing and see how I can reduce the cost. Because sometimes they were like, they didn't know how to focus the effort on automation, because sometimes they were like having big initiative, but for customer with low income, so it was not it was not the best option. So what we did there, we tried to improve how they could expend the money so that they have the highest return rate on that. Once we did that, we moved to a second phase in which we train all the finance team. we trained all the finance team that was working on this aspect of the business to use this dashboard, no? Because the idea was to understand. We make a classification in 4 different groups of customers, and the idea was to understand what we were doing, and we asked them to add more features. No, what do you need? What can improve your work? What KPI do you think it can be useful so that you don't need to calculate and you can see in a dashboard? You can see in a dashboard and you don't need to go to SQL and to make that queries, because one of the main aspects of this was that people didn't know enough SQL to make these complex queries, or they didn't have time. For example, the CFO sometimes has very particular needs of a customer. For example, which vertical was the one with more profit in November last year, and this question need to be answered, by a financial analyst. And when I need some complex need of SQL, and it really was taking a lot of time. The team member, the lead of the finance team, told us that he was spending his week of 5 days, he was spending 1 day and a half answering the CFO questions. Ad hoc question that the CFO has. He need to stop or to spend more than 1 day every week answering that question. So the idea was to have a solution, an intelligent solution that, besides the dashboard and the business intelligence, it's a technology that we know a lot. I think there is a consolidated technology. We decided to move one more step and to see, well, can we use these new technologies that are available, this large language model? Can we create something that allows a business analyst without knowledge of SQL, or perhaps, I don't know, the CFO or some other or other employees, involved, other employees involved in the financial process, other members of the board? Can we allow them to go and to ask questions to the data without knowing SQL, just knowing about finance? And so that was our main goal. So after we finish this phase, the phase number 2 that we are seeing now, we decide, well, let's move and let's work in something more intelligent. Let's see what these hype APIs can provide us. So our first step was, well, let's create a chatbot. And the first question that we had was, and how we are going to use this chatbot? No, because you know that one of the key metrics, or the key things that affects adoption is the user experience, of the user, because it's not so, if the chatbot was not so easy to access, or you need, I don't know, to go to a link, you need to go to another web page. Sometimes we find that it was not so easy for them to use it. They forgot about this new enhancement. They forgot about the link, and well, and the user didn't go back to that page. So we decided to make like a change in the focus, and we add this like an automated a bot agent into Teams, which we are working with Teams. So the idea was to simulate that you were speaking to a person, instead of looking for my name or a name of who I want to ask the question in Teams. I need to go into Teams and to look for the name of the bot. The bot was called Financial Agent, and then you can go to ask to a financial agent the question, and the agent will answer you in Teams. Now that was really interesting, because you don't need any new application, you don't need to install anything. You just need to get access to that chatbot, and you can go into Teams, and you can just add in the Teams app, and that was ready for you, available at any time. So I think that was really nice, because it was really easy to use. And well, and this was like the front end. Well, and in the back end, we are going to go into more details, but what we did was to allow this chatbot to interact with 2 different kind of things. The first one was, of course, to use an API, an external API. We are going to discuss about more security of this in the next slide. And the other was to allow to access to the financial information. So we create like a copy or of a replication of the database of the financial data of the company. So there this agent could combine its ability of translating a question in natural language into SQL. Then he could translate the SQL answer into natural language and reply in natural language. No, it was like a kind of translator, no, of SQL. It was like the first business case that we have. As we can see, then we improved the API. There was a big improvement in the last month. You know that I know every month we are seeing like the new version of I don't know, ChatGPT API, the new version of Gemini, the new version of Claude. So every time the API is improved, I think that we just changed the API and we are getting more functionality from the agent. That's really interesting, no? Because we can divide the functionality like in two groups. The one that we work and we train and we make some prompt engineering sometimes, or we show examples to the agent. And there are a lot of cases that just changing the API, we get better solutions. I am going to show you a couple of examples at the end. But the idea is that the bot gets more intelligent every time you make this kind of upgrade. So let me go here. Now I want to speak about the solution. The solution is like, as I mentioned, we have the idea is that the user goes into the data visualization tool. It can be any. I mean, we use Power BI, but it can be any of them because it's just the same. And then, for example, you go to what you want to see, but you want to ask another question. No, I mean, you want to go deeper. You know that in the classic BI world, if you want to have like an extra screen or ask an extra question to the data visualization tool, you need to go to the BI team and ask them to make an enhancement, to add a new chart, or to create a new dashboard. No, so that was taking time. It was not so easy. I mean, perhaps you can do it by yourself, but it was not so easy. No, I mean, you need to know about the data visualization tool that you were using, and sometimes you also need to know about SQL or something related to that. So the idea here was I opened the visualization tool. I search for a customer. I want to deep dive in this customer. So instead of doing all the process that I mentioned, what we did is let's go to Teams and ask the chatbot the question that we are asking for the reply. This was the first step. So combining the data visualization tool in one screen, and in the other screen you have the Teams, and you go into Teams and you ask the agent. No, it was like a collaboration, no, between the chatbot and the finance analyst. So what happened the next step? The chatbot was send the question to the API, no, to the large language model, and there was a translation. No, this question was translated into SQL question. No, for example, how much, which is the most important customer in revenue from the last year. So this was translated in a SQL query. This was with this SQL statement. The API goes to the database of financial information of the company, and that replies was sent again to the large language model, and it replies in natural language. For example, I don't know, just to say, Carnival, which was one of the customers, was the most important customer. So that was like the magic, just to say, was that, no, that you were able to access to very complex SQL queries just in natural language. So that I think was the most important part in the first stage of the solution. Regarding security, I would like here to make a comment. Our first approach was to use an external API. In this case, was from OpenAI. And there we need to be very careful, because as this was very confidential information, we need to encode and decode the information, no, of the names of all the personal information related to the customer. I mean, names mainly, no. We couldn't. The legal department doesn't allow us to send names of the customer, so we need to make like a kind of coding and decoding process. But after that, we discovered that the cloud provider of the customer, in this case was Azure. Azure was having like an option of using an LLM API based on OpenAI technologies that was exactly the same, but this API was part of the Azure solution. So we could use this API without changing the security policy of the company, no? Because this API was in compliance with all the previous security policies of the company. So there we were able to make some improvement. For example, in the first case, when you work with coding and decoding, you need to write exactly the name. No, if you make a typo in the name, the code and the code process is affected. So if we could use directly an API from inside the cloud platform, it was easier because there you can make a typo and it doesn't matter, no? It understands. You know, if you have ever used ChatGPT or any of these solutions, you know that you don't need to be 100% accurate. You can make a little mistake, and the chatbot is able to understand, no, what you wanted to say. So with using this internal API from the Azure solution, we could replicate that. And the most important thing was that the experience of using this chatbot was similar of the experience that we get when we use ChatGPT, no? Because you know that you feel like more comfortable because you know that you don't need to be 100% precise. You can make a mistake and you will get the right answer. So that was really interesting. So we make here like a change. No, we were using the first version. It was the 3.5. That was like one of the first version of ChatGPT. I mean, this technology is older than that. Not the GPT models have like, I think like 7 years of, and well, the 3.0. Sorry, the 3.5 was the one which made ChatGPT famous. No, it was like the one that we discovered like 2 years ago. Yes, in December, I think 2 years ago. And then we switched to the new one, but it's not the latest one. We switched to 4.0. And at that time, that was in June, I think it was the new version. Now we have another version. We have the version which is called 4.0, and last week it was released a newer version, which is called 0.1. But now we switch from 3.5 to 4, and the fact was that we get a lot of increase in the performance. No, the 3.5 have a problem that sometimes was hallucinating, and the new version didn't hallucinate, and it was really better to understand in the context. For example, you can ask like more complex questions to the chatbot, and it was better at remember the flow of the conversation. So the experience was really improved. Because, for example, you can ask, which was the customer with highest labor cost in last quarter? And it says, I don't know, for example, a name of a customer, any customer, and you can ask, and how was this labor cost divide, and what was the relation of this labor cost of the last quarter with the previous quarter? And it was really nice and really fluent the way you can interact and ask more and more questions regarding that. So there we have, I remember that we have like 14 it was like kind of, I won't say bugs, but were 14 cases in which the chatbot was not accurate, and we could, and once we make this API migration, we really we solve all the cases. I mean, without just changing the API, we could improve that, and we can improve the performance of the model just using an external API. I mean, of course, we have a solid background because we have all the connections made. We have trained with prompt engineering the chat to be able to understand a couple of questions. But every time a new model is deployed or is ready to be used for the customers, I think that all the applications that we built using this kind of APIs improve, and that's really good. And one of the important things here is that it's not so clear for us which is the limit, no? Because then I will go in more detail. But for example, the actual version is not so good at making like if case scenarios. For example, if I say, what happened if this was a real case, no? What happens if the labor cost from Philippines rise the 20%? How will this impact the vertical of maritime? no, because this company works a lot with chips. And well, it was a really complex question because you need to know how this will affect the entire structure of the cost, and that was changing depending on the customer and the services that you were providing to each customer, and also depends now on the type of industry. And well, and this wasn't, we couldn't do that with the first version, but with the second one we could do it. And I think that here is a lot of potential, because I think that now we are with the new version, we are going to be able to make more complex cases. For example, can you make a projection of my revenue, I don't know, in the next year, if the economy grows, I don't know, 5% in these countries, and the relation between my new customer and the economic growth is that. Now you can create these kind of scenarios, and you can get the answer almost immediately. And I think that there is a lot of potential here. And here we need the input from the finance analyst, of the people from finance, the CFO, well, whoever is work with that, because I think the only limit here is like the imagination or the needs of the people, because this is improving a lot, and we are going to, and we are getting like, the Asian is getting smarter every time a new version is released. Now I will show you a quick video, just an example. Give me 1 minute. Here we have, look, this is just an example so that you can see how it works. Here we have, I will stop so we can read the question. Okay, list of type of work based on cost center that is repeated across customers, ranked by number of hours in aggregate. No, so this is really a complex question. If you know something from SQL, you know that here you have to to make a query and a showing of at least 4 different tables. So, and the answer is that no, the type of work based on cost center that is repeated across the customer ranked by number is this. So you got that list. So it's interesting that you are also able to re-ask or to continue this conversation, no? Because sometimes we find out that in finance, what they wanted to know was not just one particular question. They wanted to know, to be able to ask more and more questions from one topic. So that's the idea, was not to allow them to go deep as they want. And well, and I think that here we have a couple of use cases. Just okay, what industry we mean here, like the vertical, no? Which kind of customers? Okay, here we have, this is an internal classification in which we are showing this is the vertical of, this is the name that our client used to name his different verticals. Here we have the total amount of hours. Here we have this. I like to leave this because it shows also that no, when you do this, you also discover these kind of things that that is also a powerful tool to make this kind of data corrections, no? Because we have none. What does this none mean? It means that you need another category, or you need to work and to improve your data. But as you can see, like the possibilities or the option to increase this are like infinite, no? Because you just need good users. That's also why we think it's so important. Sorry, let me go back here. That's why the adoption now is key here, because this chatbot will improve. Will improve as soon as much input we have and much feedback from the user we have. We are going to be able to create new use cases and to share that use cases. Sometimes we need to do some prompt engineering. Prompt engineering, we mean, for example, like teaching, just to say the agent some examples, with examples saying, well, when someone asks you to calculate this, we do it in this way. No, sometimes it's because of the language. You know that sometimes language is not so clear, so it's good to take this know-how of the users and to teach the agent to do exactly the same, so that when they ask a question, they can get the answer that they are expecting. And now I would like to speak about the next steps that we think it might be we can do. As I mentioned before, we have here a big opportunity regarding forecast and planning, no? Because you know that in finance, forecasts are really important. And here we have the possibility of making like, I don't know if the word exactly is like playing, but you can like imagine or make a lot of suppositions. And then sometimes they are doing this, of course, using Excel file, and Excel has a lot of technology for this. But here I think you don't need to spend so much time, no? It's faster because you have an idea, you can go to a chatbot and just say, well, what happened if this happened, and you can have a result or a simulation of that. I think that there is a lot to do. Now we can do simple forecast and simple planning, but I think that the new version, the one that I mentioned, the 01, it's called, I think it was deployed like 2 weeks ago. This will really be a significant improvement because the new version of this API is like, it says that it's like reasoning step by step. So instead of like giving a quick reply that sometimes is not so accurate for complex questions that need step-by-step reasoning, this new API is said that is going to make like a list of tasks that it will need to do to provide the correct answer, and it will go step by step, so we can really ask more complex questions, because the strategy of dividing the question in simple steps will allow the bot to get to arrive to more complex and more accurate answers. So I think we have there a big opportunity for forecast and planning in the next month. And the other thing is that we would like to improve is also to work in, you know, that now the interaction, I mean, I don't like to call it a chatbot, because a chatbot means that you can only chat, and I think it's very restrictive. I prefer to say that this is an agent, because the idea is like it should be like an agent that will help you in your day-to-day work. We can also, we think that it will be useful, for example, if you can download all the questions that you ask in a kind of PDF or a document, or perhaps you can create also a presentation, not saying, well, I want to extract, I don't know, the labor cost information for the vertical, for such vertical, oil and gas vertical, all the labor cost information. I want to create a presentation to show to the CFO. The idea is that this agent will deliver the presentation, the deck to you, and following the style that you ask. And then you perhaps, of course, you need to read it. Perhaps you need to make some changes, some modifications, but the idea is that it will be more than a chatbot. We want this to be think as an agent, you know, that can help you in not only answering, but also creating documentation. Another very interesting feature that we are working is in what we call pre-built analysis. We want like to have like, you know, like shortcuts. For example, you say, I want to analyze Schumberler. And so you put that and you get like, I don't know, 10, 50, 20 KPIs that are the key ones for that. We want just to have like, you know, that sometimes for this kind of, in the analyst world, what you need to develop and you need to use is more like common sense. Now, what do you mean? If I ask to you, bring me the more relevant KPIs or information of this customer, or how is this customer performing? Well, we want the agent to be able to know, to understand what we mean when we ask this kind of summaries. So the idea is to have like some pre-built functions that will allow you to access to the most relevant information, but without going step by step, no? Just kind of a quick solution, no? A quick function that you put the name of the customer and you get all the information and you can download. I think that these are the most important things that we can work in the next month. And as final considerations, this is very interesting because here we need to know, we need to understand that we are combining two different things. No, we have a large language model, which is now is kind of smart in some not a specific question. No? It's very good in translating, for example, SQL to natural language, etc. And if you want to make a more specific domain question, here now you need to do more work in prompt engineering or showing some examples. But we think that the intelligence, as to say, is expanding, and now this new chatbot will be like able to answer more questions that not sort of domain related. And well, in the other side, you know that these companies are are selling these APIs. You need to buy the tokens. It's called token. The consumption token is like a technical word that says it's like kind of, so we can say it's like a word that you get from the agent, and as the complex are more as the question are more complex, you need to spend more tokens. So you think, well, but my cost may get really high. If I try to use more complex or more intelligent for the chatbot. And the fact is no, because it's really in the last year the price of the token dropped by 90%, and I think that there are a couple of companies. I mean, we don't have 20, there are 5 or perhaps more, but at least 5 companies that are like that are working in the same market. And so there is a tendency of dropping the prices, and this will make this chatbot more popular. And I think that we don't need to care much about the token consumption right now. I mean, we make some calculations using the model, the version 4, which is like one of the new version. The cost of each question was it seemed like 2 cents for each question, so it was not so much due to the time that you can save using this technology. I mean, 2 cents was like really, I won't say free, but it was really not. It was not a relevant cost considered to the time and the cost of the hour of the employee. So that was a really interesting thing to know, and not to be worry about the token consumption, because as the market is really on fire, we have this, the prices are going really down, really fast. And the last thing is that the new generation of LLMs, I think that the company are working in connecting not only this kind of big databases information, but the next generation will allow you also to connect with your files and with information, and you will be able to upload a document. You will be able to say, search in my OneDrive for this document, search in my email, and find please information related to that. And the agent there won't be anymore like a chatbot. It will be like an agent, really, that will help you, because it will be able to combine what you ask, what you tell the agent to look for. I mean, where are your files, and see my emails or see my files, look for this information. You will be able to combine your input with your knowledge database, as to say, and the intelligence of the chatbot or the agent, and there you will get an answer that will be like a really a summary of all the sources available. And I think that this will be really interesting, because we are going to be really out of the frontier of a chatbot. It will be really a final an intelligent agent. I think we are going in that way. And well, as I mentioned before, every month, every 2 months, we have some news, and I think that the latest news, the one of 2 weeks ago, will really be critical in this market, and we will see in the next weeks a lot of new business case that will appear now based on these new technologies. Thank you, everybody. I don't know if you got any question. I will stop my sharing, and let's go to the question.
Thank you, Alejandro and Celeste. Now, so we will start with the Q&A session of the webinar. We got a few. I will start one. You choose who is supposed to be answering. What are the prospects for an evolution of these agents in the coming month?
Okay, I think that I have already spoken about this, but well, that's a summary. I think that the most important thing is we are moving to the next generation of agents that are the reasoning step by step. So now we are going to be able to ask like a really complex question, and a question that requires to divide the problem in different steps, and the agent by itself will be able to decompose the big task in subtasks, and to show you how it's reasoning, to show you all the intermediate steps, and to provide a solution. There are a lot of, I mean, this is really new because it happened like 10 days ago, but there are a lot of new cases that are appearing, and it says that the performance will be similar to a PhD student. So yeah, we have really promising.
Perfect, thank you. Next is, what should I consider regarding data security?
Yes, we already covered this. I think if you want to share some, if you want to, for example, to have an agent answering finance question, that's really critical because you can't show this. I mean, in theory, in the API terms of at least OpenAI, was the one in which we work, they say that they are not going to use information for training purposes. They say that by contract they are not going to use your data to train the new model, but the security departments in the companies doesn't trust this so much. So I think that the best solution is to try to use, as I mentioned, this cloud, the solution that the cloud provider is offering for this solution, because you are using the same security stack.
Good, thank you. What level of adoption did you achieve, and to what do you attribute it?
Mhm. Well, that's a key question, and that's one of the main KPIs that when coming with new technical solutions, we take a look at, because you can have the better technology, but if nobody uses it, it's not worth investing on it. And in this case, adoption has been steadily growing. At first, as we mentioned, there was some hesitation, mostly due to a lack of knowledge and concerns about security. So our team worked a lot of working sessions, a lot of meetings, educating stakeholders, and also looking for these solutions that, as Alejandro mentioned, there was a discovery work made there. And after that, once that fraud was resolved, the results started to speak, from themselves. And so people started to use it and to ask for more, because they started having calculation about, okay, I spend 1 hour a day answering questions for the team. And so if I say, okay, 1 hour per 20 people answering, so it's a lot of labor cost that we can avoid if we implement this chatbot. So this was really growing. And I have to emphasize that at least for us, we will have a consultancy mindset, and I think that does help our teams to accompany the clients to grow in adoption and to get the stakeholders involved. So I think that once you or everybody goes to look for a vendor, you have to take care of not only the technology and the hard skill, that's of course we have it, but also the consultancy mindset that will walk you through the whole process. And I think Alejandro had a great leadership role there.
Perfect. And talking about consultancy, in what other areas they plan to apply this AI model?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yes, there are many initiatives. One, I think the most interesting one I would like to mention is, for example, they have, please note that this chatbot or this agent is a thing to use internally, no? They don't want to expose this to final customer. It's just for internal usage. And one of the most interesting one was when they have a new customer, they sign a contract, and the contract has many terms and conditions, because for the kind of service that they are providing, it's a complex services with a lot of SLAs, and it's really, for example 100 pages. The contract is not so easy to read and to remember. So they have a couple of people that when the new customer or any customer asks a question regarding the contract, they need to go into the contract and they look for the part, and well, it takes really a lot of time. So the idea was to train the agent with the contract. So these agents are really good at summarizing and creating tests, mainly. So the idea is to train this agent with this contract, so that instead of going and looking what you want to know from in the contract, in the Control F function, you can use the chatbot and you can get an answer. And based on that answer, the employee was saving like a really lot of time, because he was like checking the answer and share the answer with the final customer. So that one was one of the area. It's like to make like a kind of Google and improve Google from your internal information. Perfect.
Thank you. Okay, we are running just out of time. So just to close, thank you again for attending the webinar. Thanks, Celeste and Alejandro, for these amazing presentations. And thanks, Inisoft, for letting you both be here.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you, Rodolfo, for this invitation, and we'll be sending everyone a white paper with all the detailed information about this project that was showcased here, so you can have more information on your side, and of course, feel free to reach out if you have any questions or you have to go deeper on this type of initiatives. Thank you very much again, and have a nice day for all.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.